Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us on this Paranormal Pit Stop. Tonight, we'll be exploring a historic structure located off of the corner of Charter and St. Louis Streets, out of the French Quarter in New Orleans, Louisiana, that's easily regarded amongst the most significant historic locations in the whole of its aged city, and that's grown wildly in popularity for its unique atmosphere that bodes well for receptions, parties, and all manner of gatherings. Also recognized as the Nicolas Girod, or rather Mayor Girod Residence, and rumored to harbor a range of restless spirits tied to its past. Are you sure you're ready to brave the history and hauntings of the iconic Napoleon House? Historically, this stalwart home was initially constructed in 1794, and 4 years later, in 1798, was purchased under Claude Francois Girod, who was actually the brother of 5th New Orleans Mayor Nicolas Girod. Following Claude's 1813 passing, his prized estate would be handed down to Nicolas, who in turn in 1814 would tear down the original home in order to construct a grand manor, which was both enlarged and remodeled in 1821 in anticipation of the arrival of, cue ominous drumroll, Le Petit Corporal himself, Napoleon freaking Bonaparte. A loyalist to the death, Girod's finances would be used in part to sponsor a plan to rescue Bonaparte from his exile on St. Helena off the coast of Africa, which notably was actually his second exile, following his first to the island of Elba, which many should remember from Alexander Dumas's Count of Monte Cristo, and its later film adaptations. Incidentally, from Elba, Napoleon was actually able to raise an army and sneak back over to France, so sending the crazy little guy to St. Helena, with the bulk of the continent of Africa between, was probably the country's safest bet. Unfortunately for Girod, Napoleon would pass on May 5th of 1821, likely to stomach cancer, and nearly 2 decades later, in 1840, Nicolas would die within his home, after which, through the 19th century, the estate would be passed through a number of owners, before, through the 20th century, being transformed into a store called Labordet's Grocery. In 1914, one Joseph Impastato would begin renting the aged property out while running a grocery store on the ground floor and living with his siblings upstairs. In 1920, Joseph would amass enough money to purchase the property outright and would open a tavern within, which operated right alongside the store and that grew rapidly in popularity amongst both river workers and local businessmen alike. Notably, his operation would even manage to soldier on through Prohibition. Sadly, in 1985, Joseph would pass away at the ripe old age of 100, and right within his upstairs apartment, after which his business would remain in family hands for a time, until 2015, when the site was purchased under Ralph Brennan of the Ralph Brennan Restaurant Group, marking a simultaneously happy and tragic end to 101 total years of Impastato ownership. The Napoleon House remains open into the present, offering a range of food and drink options, plentiful space for gatherings, touring options, and, according to a range of local legends, its fair share of resident ghostly manifestations, with both staff and visitors to its bounds reporting disembodied voices heard from empty spaces, footsteps that echo through rooms that should be empty, and extreme cold patches that seemingly move around rooms of their own volition. An apparition bearing a likeness to Mayor Girod has been spied gazing over the estate. On the second floor, which served as an infirmary through the Civil War, spectral soldiers have been observed making rounds at both sunrise and sunset, and a range of tales tell of shadows and movement sighted through the cupola's windows, with some telling that opening its shutters can set free whatever's dwelling behind them. One popular local legend tells that through the late 19th century, this weathered home may very well have landed in the hands of the New Orleans Mafia, or the New Orleans crime family, and several living near the site at the time were documented as saying that when they saw people taken to the upstairs floor, there was a good chance those people were never seen again. The spirits of countless mafia victims are thought to linger, and one paranormal team also documented an encounter with a spectral woman near the second story, who they believed was murdered, or met some possibly related nefarious fate. Also reported across Napoleon House grounds are objects sighted moving around on their own or even floating in midair, instances of lights flicking off spontaneously, leaving all present in darkness, and doors that open and close briefly on their own, as if someone unseen is passing quickly through them. Rather intriguingly, time and time again, staff have reported discovering mysterious glasses at the bar that are believed to be left behind by a ghostly sailor and former patron that just can't bring himself to move on. Both orbs and spook lights have been sighted and captured in photography and video, and several have detailed the sensations of being watched, of being followed, or even of being touched or brushed up against by what feels to be an invisible person or crowd. Lastly, one of the more commonly encountered entities at this timeless abode is that of a little old lady, who is often observed sweeping the second-floor balcony early in the morning, and several have purportedly ran headlong into the full-bodied apparitions of various members of the Impostado family, who most believe remained behind to watch over their cherished family operation. Thanks for tuning in for this Paranormal Pit Stop. If you enjoyed hearing our histories and ghost stories, subscribe to our channel, like this upload, and share us with anyone you feel deserves a good scare. We'll catch you all next time.